Welcome to our personal branding and content creation course. This is episode 1, where I'll teach you the basics of scripting viral Instagram reels. I'll deep dive into my scripting process, show you how to choose the right topics and edit a strong hook. This episode is sponsored by Brilliant, an online platform that helps you learn and master concepts like AI, machine learning and programming in just 15 minutes a day. Make sure you take notes because the top 20 students from this session will earn a certificate of achievement. So without further ado, let's get started. I will break down 5 reels for you today. Each of these reels did decently well on my Instagram. For each reel, there will be 6 components to analyze: topic, script, A-roll, B-roll, and sound. But before I get into these 6 components, I need to teach you some first principles that work for both short form and long form content. If you are just starting out as a creator, I would recommend you to first crack short form content and then move to long form content. Most people think that their content success would depend on things like background setup, editing, or camera quality. These things are on rank 3 to rank 5. The most important components are topic selection and scripting. But before you script, you need to lock your foundations. You need to first get full clarity on what subject are you going to make your content on. Now, all of this decision making is almost a 3-step process. You need to ask yourself specific questions. What subjects are you inherently interested in? Who is your target audience for this short form content? What do you have to say that is so different from everybody else? For example, my content subjects are design and technology. When I entered content, I only started with design. Then I slowly expanded to productivity. And now I'm also teaching AI. My target audience is people between the ages of 21 to 27 who are interested in technology and design. So after you have chosen your subject, you need to lock your target persona. That is, who do you want to be seen by? Is it students in school or in college? Is it professionals entering their first job or seniors above the age of 45? You need to be very specific, because something that is interesting to a college student might not be interesting to a person who's 45 years old in a corporate job. Now you're probably wondering that when I started, did I not have this fear that how am I different from other people? So the thing is, I am a self-taught designer. So I know what exactly a beginner needs to learn without any formal guidance. Because I've been through the journey, my entire discovery of figuring out design on my own has actually taught me what a random student might need when she's just starting out. On parallel side, I love filmmaking. So one of our goals is to have really well produced content on YouTube that feels like a proper paid course or even a Netflix documentary. I've already explained this entire exercise of finding out your niche and analyzing your competition in utmost detail in our video editing course episode 1 and 2. If you haven't seen those videos, I sincerely request you to watch them after you finish this video. But just to summarize, you need to first pick a subject that you are naturally interested in, because if you pick something just for the sake of it, you will burn out very easily. For example, I love design and technology, so I can make unlimited videos without getting bored. My friend Ganesh Prasad loves businesses and geopolitics, so he's covering them on his YouTube channel called Think School. My friend Digvijay Singh loves health and nutrition, so his brand on Instagram is obviously around these topics. You cannot pretend to like certain subjects and make it in the content world, because the audience will instantly know that this guy is faking it. So once you've logged your subject and target audience, you can officially start learning how to script your content, because your target audience will influence the kind of topics and language you use in your scripts. Now let's define what exactly is a successful reel in the context of this course, because this definition and vocabulary has to be same for you and I. So for this specific course, if your video gets a lot of views, comments and shares, we will call that reel successful. Why am I getting into this? Because I personally have a very different definition of successful content, which is more about impact and audience connect. But in general, the entire world and other brands will judge your reels on the basis of these 3 metrics. Now, to maximize these 3 things, you need to master more 3 subjects. Number 1 is choosing the right topics. Then we have writing your script, and in the end it is the production. Now let's learn how to choose your topics first. Now, educational content is the best niche to make content on. Why? Simply because of 3 big reasons. Firstly, the content shelf life is very long, because every year a new student will be curious to learn what you have already taught. Second, brands love educational content, so getting sponsors is relatively easy. And third, your impact is really high. which brings you a lot of love and a sense of fulfillment. When I usually feel very demotivated just because I'm not getting views or certain number of likes, I always go through my comment section, and the comments you put really help me and my team feel more motivated. If you consistently make high quality educational content, eventually you will build a community of people who genuinely love you and what you do, and that brings a lot of satisfaction, and it helps you stay in the game for a longer run. Now, within educational content, 3 to 4 topics get the most paying brands. First is technology and coding, then we have science and math, then we have businesses, which is business case studies or business analytics, and then we have finance. Now, this is where a platform like Brilliant can really help you upskill yourself, because you can learn the fundamentals of some of the most valuable topics in the field of AI, math, data science, computer science, and programming through extremely interactive questions. Now, these courses are taught so uniquely that you can not only upskill yourself, but also take inspiration from how they have explained complicated topics and then use those techniques in your own content as well. The lessons they cover on Brilliant are perfect for educational creators who want ideas for both short and long form content. Their onboarding process carefully asks you about your personal interests and creates a personalized learning roadmap to suit your exact needs. Let me show you how it works. Alright, so here I am in Brilliant, and this is super exciting. Let me just show you what all courses they have. I'm already pursuing their scientific thinking course, but let's just say you are interested in CSN programming, or maybe you want to make content on CSN programming, and you want to basically make content on creative coding. So I'll just open this up, and the crazy part here is that they have gamified the entire experience. So they have all of these cool levels, right? So you go to them one by one. So I'm going to start the lesson. So what they do is they would have these small tutorials and exercises, right? So right now they're saying that you will be programming with our blog based editor, and here is how you use it. Move forward, turn right, move forward. So makes sense. So I'll click on continue. Basically, you need to drag the blocks to arrange them. So you want to take this person to another level, and you can just drag these blocks. So then it says, let's write a simple program. Modify the inputs to draw block to generate a blue square. So if I say draw circle and then this red, if I were to go and maybe change this from red to blue and click on play, then it's basically drawing a circle which is blue in color. Now my instruction was to make a blue square. So I just need to switch from circle to square, and then I will click on play, and this time it is correct, right? Now I will click on continue, and they have done this for every single subject out there. So let me show you the scientific thinking course that I was doing. Let me show you this one. So scientific thinking is basically you training your eyes to see the world around you, by solving puzzles. So I'll show you, they had this very cool gear exercise. Okay. They were basically showing how if I were to take this gear and rotate it, you would notice how if I rotate this clockwise, this one is anti-clockwise and this is again clockwise. So I've already completed this course, so it's just showing me the history. But the way they explain these topics, right? The way the animations work, it is so beautiful. I can just select any of these gears and then check, and you'd realize that, oh, it's not working, which means I have to select an alternate gear to make them work. No, not even right now. Let's check this one, and I've still not selected. Tap to select all the gears that are moving in the same direction as the first one. So I think if this is clockwise, this will be anti-clockwise. This and this should be clockwise, and this will be anti-clockwise, and this will be clockwise. Let's check. And it is working, right? And the way you learn these subjects is so interactive that you just need to spend 15 minutes every day to learn all of these things one by one. So I just thought it's supremely cool that Brilliant has decided to collaborate with us. I would strongly recommend you folks to not only use this for your content, but share this with students and cousins in your families who really want to take their skills to the next level, because they have such beautiful courses on some of the most complicated topics out there, and they've explained it beautifully. It is so beautiful that you will sincerely enjoy learning from them. So you will find all the details in the description. Do make sure you check it out. You can try Brilliant for free for 30 days by visiting the link in description or by scanning this QR code. You'll also get 20% off on their annual premium subscription. Now, let's continue learning the art of choosing the right topics. So folks, all content topics can be split into two broad categories: timeless topics and trending topics. Timeless topics will work irrespective of their upload time or date. These include subjects like educational content, historical or fact-based content, tips and tricks, motivational stories, quotes and affirmations, productivity, comedy and skits, self-care, fitness, nutrition, and storytelling. These videos usually work at any time of the year. Therefore, more than topic selection, in these specific cases, your hook and scripting matters a lot. But on the other side, trending topics will work only during specific times of the season. For example, in India, March is the month of a beautiful Indian festival called Holi, where everyone plays with color. During March, content around skincare, Holi outfits, gifting, and festive recipes like thandai and gujia does really well. April is the month of exams and college applications, so any content around exam stress, success stories, and college vlogs get a lot of attention. But please note that this is under the assumption that your target audience includes students who are studying in school or in college. So if your target audience is somebody who's above the age of 45, then the month of April doesn't really matter to you. So this is where the importance of choosing the right target audience and being very clear about it helps you understand what months are trending for you, what are timeless for you, and what is going to get you a lot of views now that you have logged your specific persona. In some cases, you can combine the power of a timeless topic in its trending season. For example, in the last week of December and in the entirety of January, videos around resolutions, goal setting, and gymming do really well because the entire sentiment of people is around changing their lives. Therefore, when you're selecting topics, you need to ask yourself what is the current sentiment of the people you're targeting, because their sentiment is what you need to capture in all of your scripts. But making too much of trendy content can also dilute your brand. So you need to have a balance of both timeless content and trending content. And this is a balance which is slightly tricky to learn, but I've learned this from some of the best creators by observing what they do and actually listening to a lot of their interviews. I personally really look up to Ranveer Alabadia, who is one of the most popular creators in India. My team and I actually bought his Instagram course, and usme he talks about this push and pull technique. And this is not a collab, he's not asked me to do this. I can literally show you notes of my team and I where we have written this down. And this push and pull technique is something that we were practicing subconsciously, but now that I've heard this technique, it makes so much sense. So let me explain you how this works. When you make content that is very trendy and very catchy, you essentially pull more people into your content because that thing goes viral, more people see your face and then they follow you. So this is you pulling a new set of audiences on your content. But when you make content which is very authentic to you, or it's not just about some trend or some fancy audio, but you're actually sharing what you're doing, right? It might not get millions of views, but it is helping your audience to know you more. That is a push form of a content where you're pushing your own art, your own personality into your current audience. So when you apply the pull strategy, you are basically running on trendy content, that gets you a lot of followers, new faces into your community. But you need to balance that with push content as well, where you have this community of people and you want those people to really know you and not just some random video that you're making to get popular. So the art is to balance this push and pull strategy. In fact, Ranveer also talks about the machine gun versus sniper mentality in his podcast with Think School.
I'll tell you what the machine gun strategy is. Short content is an art form, but it can be optimized to get views as well. The rules of short content change every 3 months. Okay, so this is the basis of it.
Every 3 months?
That's what I genuinely believe.
Okay.
Machine gun strategy in short is, if we feel that someone has given us a stellar podcast, we ensure that all our systems and processes are aligned to make the short content from that podcast explode on social media and reach everyone's algorithm.
Both of them are very dear friends of mine, so I would strongly recommend you to watch that entire podcast. I am personally very grateful to these two friends because both of them have played a massive role in shaping my content career. Why? That's a different story. It's a pretty long one. I'll explain it to you some other day. But coming back to the topic selection, while you're learning how to choose the right topics, you need to carefully analyze your competition. Again, I have explained this exercise in utmost detail in our video editing course episodes 1 and 2. Links will be in the description. Now, to win the certificate, you need to document all of your learnings from this module and the next module and post them on LinkedIn. Make sure you tag me and email me your LinkedIn's post's URL on talent@anshmehra.com. The deadline for this task is 10 days after the release of this video. Now, to summarize and practice, there are some important things that you need to note down from module 1. You need to sit down and think about the following answers in your notes, either on paper or on LinkedIn. Pick a subject that you can easily research and speak about without getting bored. Then decide your target audience. Then research similar creators in your niche who are targeting the same audience, and then go to their profile and shortlist topics that you are interested in and that have worked for them. Then further categorize those topics into timeless versus trending topics, and then only work on timeless topics first, because if you pick their trending topics and if you make a video on those trending topics today, it will not work. But working on timeless topics will help you strengthen your scripting skills. Trending topics do not require too much scripting in the first place because the topic itself carries most of the weight. Once you do this, you will be ready to start writing your first short script. In the next module, I'll take you through 5 of my Instagram reels and explain how I chose that topic, what was my scripting process, why exactly did it even do so well, and what are the small nitty-gritties that you need to take care of when you're editing your reel. So let's get started. Alright, so we have 5 to 6 reels in front of us. The first reel that I will show you right now had played a massive role in the growth of my Instagram channel. So when I released this reel, I actually went from I think 50,000 followers to like 100k followers. I have broken down the entire process in this video called how to get 100k followers on Instagram. In case you're trying to grow your Instagram, I'll put the link in description. Let me first play the reel for you and then we will break down how does this reel work.
सब आजकल ये चैट जीपीटी की क्यों बात कर रहे हैं?
This technology can change a ton of people's lives who are watching this right now.
गैरी भी सही कह रहे हैं, एंड तक देखना बहुत जबरदस्त टेक्नोलॉजी है, क्योंकि इस रील की स्क्रिप्ट के लिए भी मैंने चैट जीपीटी को यूज करा है। हाँ, हिंदी में भी चैट करता है ये। जब आप गूगल से कुछ पूछते हो तो वो आपको लिंक्स देता है, फिर आप एक एक करके लिंक्स में जाते हो और अपना आंसर ढूंढते हो। बट जब आप चैट जीपीटी से कोई क्वेश्चन पूछते हो तो वो लिंक्स नहीं, आपके क्वेश्चन का एग्जैक्ट आंसर दे देता है। ऐसा लगता है कि आप दुनिया के सबसे नॉलेजेबल टीचर से चैट कर रहे हो। इसके पीछे बहुत टेक्नोलॉजी है एंड आई रेकमेंड कि आप खुद चैट जीपीटी से जाके पूछो कि हाउ डू यू वर्क। काफी लोग चैट जीपीटी को अपने असाइनमेंट्स, रिसर्च एंड ईमेल्स के लिए यूज कर रहे हैं। chat.openai.com पे जाके आप भी इसे ट्राई कर सकते हो फॉर फ्री। फॉर मोर सच कंटेंट ऑन डिजाइन एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, फॉलो योर दोस्त अंश मेहरा।
Alright, so on my right is the script, and apologies to those who are not Hindi speaking folks. You can skip to reel number 2. From reel number 2 onwards, it's completely in English. But yes, the first sentence is सब आजकल ये चैट जीपीटी की क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? Why is everybody talking about chat GPT? And then I suddenly switch. So let's come to Premiere Pro. Let me just show you frame by frame. Okay, I'll mute this. सब आजकल ये chat GPT क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? The first sentence of the script is a question. And by the way, this is a trending topic and not a timeless topic. Now, instantly at the second itself, I now have Gary Vee come into the picture, which is somebody very, very popular. Almost everybody on social media recognizes him. So by taking a picture or a video from his reel where he's saying this technology can change a ton of people's lives who are watching this right now, I have instantly taken his credibility and his intensity and then I've increased the stakes, right? So the point here is that in the first 5 seconds, you have to give an incentive to the viewer, you know, like a proper hook. And this was my hook. And then I say, Gary Vee sahi keh rahe hai, Gary Vee is saying the right things. End तक देखना बहुत जबरदस्त टेक्नोलॉजी है, क्योंकि इस रील का भी स्क्रिप्ट मैंने चैट जीपीटी से लिखवाया है. सो नाउ आई हैव गिवन देम अ मोर इंसेंटिव टू वॉच दिस रील इन द एंड सो दैट दे आर आल्सो क्यूरियस दैट व्हाट एग्जैक्टली द चैट जीपीटी इवन राइट. एंड देन आई पुट अनदर शॉकर दैट हिंदी में भी चैट करता है, दैट इट स्पीक्स इन हिंदी एज वेल. सो only 12 seconds have passed and in my story preview you get 15 seconds. So in less than 15 seconds I have put up a good question. I have shown somebody who's a celebrity who's also taking this thing very seriously. Teesra, I have given you an incentive to stay till the end, and then I've also given you a fun fact, which is that Hindi mein bhi chat karta hai ye. And background music is also like very scary, very build up, and then I used to make these title sequences, right? What is ChatGPT? And then I've sort of explaining in a very simple language. You know, you don't need me to explain you the scripting. Like I think after the hook, it's not very fancy of a script, right? And if you're wondering how did I make these videos, these are made in Adobe After Effects. You have to use a 3D camera. I've explained these things in detail in our video editing course. But the point is, in my entire script, the hook actually gives you a lot of reasons to stay. In the middle, I'm explaining why is this technology important, and then I give a call to action where I say that you can go to chat.openai.com जहाँ पे आप इसको free में try कर सकते हो, and free things anyway do really well. And then I have my outro that for more such content on design and technology, follow your dost Ansh Mehra. So this reel did very well, really helped me grow fast on Instagram. Now let me show you reel number 2, which is a pretty recent one. Okay, let me play this for you.
Literally, that's my voice. That's scary.
रिसेंटली एक बैंक ने इंस्टाग्राम पे एआई को यूज करके एक फेक फैशन ब्रांड लॉन्च किया. ये सारी नूरा फतेही की वीडियोस, ये कपड़े सब एक एआई फ्रॉड है. इन एआई वीडियोस को डीप फेक बोलते हैं. HDFC बैंक की विजिल आंटी एंड नोरा फतेही ने साथ मिलकर लुलू मेलन ये फेक ब्रांड लॉन्च किया. Basically, they scammed you to save you. Now check this out.
We put this all over the internet and people watched it. But when they clicked on the link, they found out it wasn't me. It was Vigilante.
It's crazy how convincing this is because from the people to the news, everyone got confused. सबसे पहले इन्होंने एक ऐसा ब्रांड नेम और वेबसाइट बनाई जो ऑलरेडी एक पॉपुलर ब्रांड के जैसे साउंड करता है. फिर इन्होंने विजिलांटी के साथ प्रोमोज रिकॉर्ड करे और फिर एआई से उन्हीं विजिलांटी की आवाज और चेहरे को नोरा के चेहरे और आवाज से रिप्लेस कर दिया. प्रोफाइल पे नोरा के डीप फेक्स डाले, हर जगह सेल लिख दिया, एंड बस सिर्फ इतना ही देख के हजारों लोग ऑर्डर नाउ पे क्लिक करने लगे. देन पता चला ये नोरा नहीं विजिलांटी है. दे डिड दिस टू सेव यू. मोस्ट ऑफ अस थिंक कि ये एआई फ्रॉड्स आर जस्ट स्टोरीज. But the truth is, these frauds can fool any one of us. It's impressive how much effort HDFC Bank has put into this to make sure we become aware. Do you think 2024 में ऐसे scams बढ़ेंगे? Let me know in the comments. Awesome. So this is a proper 1 minute 24 second long script. Extremely difficult to pull off because the more seconds you add to your reel, the difficult it is to, get people, hooked. Now let's break down why this reel worked. First of all, this is a split screen format. It is way more easier in the today's trend reel segment where if you split the reel into two parts and your face is also visible and something interesting is also happening on the top. This format was not very popular when I was making these kind of reels, like full portrait reels were the trend, but now we're seeing this editing style where you have like a split screen. Just to make my reel stand out, instead of like a straight line, I made like a diagonal line. And the first thing here is that instead of my face, I have used Nora's face. Right? And she's saying, literally, that's my voice. That's scary. So now I've taken a celebrity and the celebrity is saying something which is slightly conflicting. The stakes are high. And then you have something on the top, right? So this is Nora and you can instantly know that there's something. There are two Noras in the picture. So what exactly is happening? And we're at the 2-second mark. Okay. Then we have newspaper articles. So with the newspaper articles, the stakes are getting higher and higher. But I don't show too many of them, like just 2-3, just to make sure that, it is making sense that something big has happened. And in the background, I have like those camera shutter voices to make it look even better. This black thing, it's called a vignette. All of these things are very easy in Adobe After Effects. And then I say, recently एक बैंक ने इंस्टाग्राम पर एआई को यूज करके एक फैशन ब्रांड लॉन्च किया. नाउ अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग राइट हियर. लुक एट द कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ द सेंटेंस. रिसेंटली एक बैंक ने इंस्टाग्राम पर एआई को यूज करके फैशन ब्रांड लॉन्च किया. कैन यू सी हाउ वियर्ड दिस एंटायर सेंटेंस लुक्स? लाइक इट वुड इंस्टेंटली पीक योर क्यूरियोसिटी कि भाई व्हाई वुड अ बैंक इवन डू दिस? So notice my hook is triggering a question. It is trying to answer a question. And on the top, I'm showing you Nora Fatahi doing this advertisement. So now your brain is trying really hard to come up with a possible answer. Then I say, ये सारी Nora Fatahi की videos, ये कपड़े सब एक AI fraud है. And then as soon as I say fraud, then the intrigue is even higher because all these kind of videos where you show where are you losing money, things about a fraud, things about something new which is very sensational, like sensation works really well. Okay, now just giving a fancy hook also does not make sense. So now I need to give value, right? It should not just be a clickbait. So then I use the most simplest language to explain what is happening. So I say that in AI videos ko deepfake bolte. And by the way, in parallel, in the market itself, the sentiment around deepfakes was on peak curiosity. So it is also like a very trendy thing. Right? This is the entire strategy here is of the push and pull thing. This is a peak pull content, right? It is actually pulling in a lot of people who might be interested in deepfakes, who might be interested in AI. HDFC बैंक की विजिल आंटी एंड नूरा फतेह ने साथ मिलकर लूलू मेलन ये फेक ब्रांड लॉन्च किया. Very simple English, nothing technical. Basically, they scammed you to save you. Now check this out. And then I'm having like a reaction video. मैं नीचे देख रहा हूँ. I'm shocked. ऊपर उनका वीडियो चल रहा है. It's the easiest way because otherwise अगर मैं अपना फेस हटा दूंगा और सिर्फ उनका वीडियो डाल दूंगा, यहाँ पर रिटेंशन डिप कर सकता है. So it's just way more easier if your face is at the bottom so that the audience can sort of feel that they are watching this video with you, right? And then I will say that it is crazy how convincing this is because people, news, everybody got confused. Then I take my phone, I show like a raw footage of my laptop. It just makes it more authentic. Then I'm sort of explaining what the process is, and I've used like arrows. Anytime I say vigilante becomes this, at that exact point, the scene cuts, right? So vigilante की आवाज और चेहरे को नोरा के चेहरे. So exactly when I say Nora, that is when the scene cuts. Right, so all of these things are really important. When I need to show the phone screen recording, I've kept a white background with a subtle shadow and rounded edges so that you're not distracted, so your focus stays in the center, right? And then I'm just sort of telling that, this XYZ thing happened and people think that it can't happen to them, but it can happen to everybody else. So then as a viewer, you're like, he's right. Like it can happen to my parents, it can happen to my friends. So this thing got massive shares, right? Like if I were to show you the insights of this, a lot of people shared this, a lot of people stayed to watch this video till the end, right? So this is a good example of a reel where the script was so long, yet it did very well because it coupled a trend, a good celebrity, a big conflict, it gave value, it explained the entire concept. It's a proper blockbuster reel package. Now let's come to reel number 3. Here, the first frame of the reel is not me, but it is Sandeep Maheshwari. And I said, let's take a simple use case that. So I am not even adding a sensational hook. I would literally start with the core value itself. So let me play this reel for you.
एक simple use case लेते हैं कि आपका एक product launch हो रहा है, आपको उसकी marketing campaign run करनी है on emails. Let's assume course है. अब क्योंकि आपको course की email writing और marketing campaigns बनाने हैं, आप directly ChatGPT से answer नहीं पूछोगे. पहले आप एक role define करो कि act as a senior digital marketer who specializes in infotainment courses and email marketing. Step number 2 is you define the task and give context. Ki I am reaching out to my subscribers. Most of these subscribers are in the ages of 18 to 24. Their goal is to make money through YouTube videos. You need to create a campaign of 7 days where I can reach out to them via email. तो ये हो गया मेरा task. अब आपने डालने constraints. Constraints में क्या हुआ? Keep the limit to maybe 300 characters. Don't extend it to this level. Then आया expectation. Expectation में आप लिखो कि the tone should be conversational. Avoid marketing buzzwords. क्योंकि ChatGPT को आप बोलोगे ना मुझे copy दे दे या title दे दे, बड़े घटिया buzzwords देता है वो. So you need to specify the tonality. Keep it conversational. And my target audience is this or this. So ये checklist है. You assign a role, you define the task, you set the constraint, and you set the expectation.
Now, again, see, when it comes to AI-based content, I am not a very big celebrity, right? AI in general is not a very fancy topic. And I apologize. I think I've just realized that a lot of these reels are in Hindi. So I sincerely apologize to non-Hindi viewers. I will try my level best to explain you the fundamentals in English. So just bear with me. The point here is that the first frame itself is of Sandeep Maheshwari sir, somebody who's like a legend. Like people are die-hard fans of this one single man. I am such a big fan. It was a dream come true for me to share the stage with him. So in the first frame, okay, let's do this frame by frame. And of course, once you are done with this video, I would recommend you to download these reels. I'll put all the links in description and just analyze the way we've done the sound, the transitions. I'm not going into the editing aspects of it right now because this video is only about scripting, right? But as I told you, a reel has multiple components: topic, scripting, A-roll, B-roll, sound. There's so many components and we will cover all of those components in the upcoming videos. Today, I'm only doing scripting, but I would still recommend you to download these reels and analyze them very, very carefully. By the way, these kind of captions are with Descript. A lot of people keep asking me, how do I do these? It's a tool called Descript and it's a paid tool. Let's take a simple use case. Now, please note that as soon as I say, let's take a simple use case, just because I've used the word simple, automatically a lot of people will accept to watch this reel. If I were to say, let's take a complicated use case, half of the people would drop off at this exact point. Then we take this grid thing, I've put a label called use case, and instantly in less than 1 second, I have just typed out the entire use case. I have not narrated it, so I'm not wasting time. We're still at 3 second 21 frames. I've put like a nice typing sound, and then instantly we have a lens flare transition, which is way more seamless than a pan transition. So I completely avoid pan transitions in reels because it almost feels like the reel only has changed, right? So I make sure that I use lens flare, and then in this exact frame we have declared the fact that Ansh and Sandeep sir are on a podcast platform, so the credibility is really high. I would not say something stupid. Now, because you want to do XYZ, you won't be able to answer directly via ChatGPT. So see what I've done right now. I have quickly set the context that you might be trying to do something, but you will not be able to achieve it. So I have introduced conflict, that you might want to do this on ChatGPT, but this is not how you do it. So I've added a negative. Then I say, this is how you do it. So now I'm explaining the solution. When I'm explaining the solution, the scene cuts, and then we have a point by point checklist sort of a thing. Now, anytime you create something like this, viewers love it because then they actually feel that the information is organized and condensed in a way where I can save this for myself for future use. So then I'm just like cutting the scenes one by one, right? Like I'm typing very quickly. I'm not narrating the entire prompt. Okay, I'm just defining what it is so that you can take screenshots, you can save it. So it's very value dense. Not even a second is left wasted. And then in the end, we summarize the entire thing, which is also a very, very important thing, right? And I'm giving you reactions of Sandeep sir as well. So while you are watching, you have your own reactions. You're seeing that the opposite person is also giving reactions. And then I've also made sure that the subtitles do not extend more than 2 to 3 words. This is also a very big mistake. People usually keep their subtitles at the lower 1/3 of the edit, whereas it needs to be here or in the center. I have removed the karaoke effect from my recent reels because I feel like it was too distracting. At that point, this trend was going on. Now it's no longer there. And at the very end, we create a checklist as well, right? So now the save quotient will just go high. So overall, good hook. There's a conflict. I've broken down the entire process. This is again a 1 minute 5 second long script. Very difficult to pull off a script beyond 60 seconds because people just stop watching. But because every information was concise, it had ton of value, it had a good hook, it had a celebrity in it, it did well. Now we'll come to reel 4. This was a pure timing based reel, okay? And the concept was also very unique. So this was not like a very conventional reel. This is where I have tried like my own creativity, not follow that hook pattern. I had made one more reel which was very cinematic. I will ask my editors to put it right now. अरे नहीं replace करेंगे यार. They just look too fake. They sound too fake. It's just impractical.
क्या हुआ अंश? मुझे पता है कि मैं अभी नकली दिखता हूं, लेकिन मेरी आवाज लगभग एक असली इंसान की तरह है.
सोचिए, अगर मैं आपको एक दिन फोन करूं,
आप नहीं जान पाएंगे कि मैं फेक एआई था या रियल ह्यूमन.
मैं कई आवाजों में बोल सकता हूँ. मैं कॉल सेंटर, कस्टमर केयर और यहाँ तक कि रिसेप्शन सेवाओं को भी बदल सकता हूँ.
मुझे खुशी है कि आप अपने ऑडियंस को मेरे बारे में एजुकेट कर रहे हैं. अदरवाइज आपके दर्शक एआई के बारे में सीखना स्टार्ट नहीं करेंगे.
लेकिन आपको अधिक मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, नहीं तो बहुत देर हो जाएगी.
ऐसा मत होने दो. एआई आएगा, चाहे लोग कुछ भी कहें. इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट कि प्रत्येक व्यक्ति जितनी जल्दी हो सके अडेप्ट एंड इवॉल्व करे. दर्शकों, अंश मेहरा पहले से ही अपने YouTube चैनल पर सब कुछ फ्री में सिखा रहे हैं. अब भी नहीं सीखे तो आप केवल अपना फ्यूचर जोखिम में डाल रहे हैं.
So yeah, as you saw, this was not like a very conventional reel. People still loved it. This was more of a push reel and not a pull reel. I felt like this will not get views. Luckily, it did get views because the cinematic aspect, the storytelling aspect was really, really good. This again was a very good example. Let me show you.
I am not real. I am artificial intelligence.
Speaking Ansh Mehra's script.
Mr. Mehra can change the way I look.
He can also change the way I speak.
Yes, this is happening for real.
Without spending a penny on actors or cameras, you can use this AI tool to make really realistic videos. It's called Synthesia, and it is hands down one of the most impressive AI video generation platforms I've ever seen.
Ansh, you forgot to tell them about the Santa videos.
Oh yes, you can legit have Santa send you a recorded video for Christmas.
Yes, Mr. Mehra is not joking.
They have over 65 avatars, different sound, and the accuracy is shocking. Neye startups, product demos, and presentations ke liye it is perfect.
Follow Ansh Mehra for more such epic content on technology and design.
Now, let me break down what I've done here. So, firstly, I have shown a random AI robotic looking kind of a girl as my first frame, and her first sentence is, I am not real. So, instantly in your brain, it's like she looks pretty real, but she's saying, I am not real. Why is she saying that? I am artificial intelligence. And then suddenly at the second, because I have to change the scene every 2 seconds, I change it into a different girl altogether. And she's saying, I'm speaking Ansh Mehra's script. So now people know that this is not some template and it is actually happening right now. Then I again cut the scene with a transition. By the way, these transitions are from the Mr. Horse plugin on Adobe After Effects, which is again paid. So then this uncle comes and he's like, Mr. Mehra can change the way I look. He can also change the way I speak. I specifically wrote Mr. Mehra because these guys were not able to say Ansh, right? So I made sure that I tweaked that. And I'm changing the voice also. So when he first says I look and then I speak also.
He can also change the way I speak.
So can you see how I have shown so many examples? I've shown 4 examples in less than 8 seconds. So I'm giving dopamine hits back to back. And then I'm like, yes, this is happening for real. In the background, the music is rising. And at this specific moment, the drums start. So now the build-up is happening. And then my second hook is that without spending a penny on actors or cameras, you can use this AI tool to make really realistic videos, but I'm not revealing the tool. So I've blurred it out with an emoji. So now the intrigue is high. You will stay till the end to figure out what tool is this. Okay. Then I say it's called Synthesia. So this is one mistake that I did. Maybe agar main Synthesia ko baad mein reveal karta, it would have been like way better. But somehow people still stayed because it was trending and people were like, how does this even work? And then I've put the exact tool ka screen recording so that it looks real. And then in the middle, because this was Christmas time, I distinctly remember this was Christmas. So again, I am taking something timeless and trending and sort of fusing them together. Timeless because a lot of people will be interested in AI avatars even the next month. But trending because now I've put in a Christmas aspect to it. So she's saying, you forgot to tell them about the Santa videos. And then I'm like, you can send a recorded video for Christmas. So now I have given the viewer another idea, another reason to save this reel and come back to it, or maybe share it to her friend or whatever it may be, because it is Christmas season. And then you can have a video like this, and then in the next frame I actually show a Santa Claus that says Mr. Mehra is not joking. So now you as a viewer can actually see the outcome and it would make you more excited. Then these are screen recordings added in Adobe After Effects. I always made sure that I show you the exact tool. At that point, a lot of creators were just showing stock footage and random illustrations. I always made sure that I show you the exact tool, the exact UI. And then in the end, I'm giving different use cases, startups, product demos, presentations. It's absolutely perfect. Then the outro, which is very, very important, that follow Ansh Mehra for more such epic content, fun technology and design. And then I show my logo. So good hook. I've sensationalized the entire concept because it's almost like the avatars are talking to me. You explain the entire thing. You give use cases. If possible, you plug in something which is, in the season. In this case, it was Christmas. And then in the end, you put the outro. Now we come to reel number 5. Again, you would have noticed almost all of these reels are AI based content. I was originally a design creator, but I was so curious about AI that I just could not stop researching on all of those things. And luckily I started making videos about it, and luckily my channel picked up once I entered AI. So I started with design, but not a lot of people are interested in UX, as compared to AI or business or finance in general. And that switch really helped me grow super, super fast. And I feel like this process is very natural. You start with something which is like very niche, you crack that concept, and then slowly you expand. Now, this Reel 5 did not require a script at all, but there are 2 important principles I want to teach you. Number 1, in today's time, your reel needs to have an upfront caption just like this, and that caption needs to be sensationalized. Okay, it has to be unique. Try to have your logo. This was a wide video that I took from my laptop. I did not script it, but I knew that the topic itself is very fascinating. So let me just play this for you. Turns out that ChatGPT can now breathe as well. So this is their mobile app. Let me show you something. Alright, you're on camera. I want you to reply to my questions in just 2 sentences. Use ums and ahs like a normal human being, and also pretend to breathe when you're speaking. Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good to me. I'm ready when you are.
I am ready right now. Can you think very closely and tell me, when will you actually come and meet me in real life?
As an AI, I can't meet in person or, exist outside the digital world, but I'm always here ready to chat or help out anytime you need.
This is absolutely incredible. You should check this out. Go and prompt your ChatGPT to use ums and ahs and breathe when it is talking. You're going to be so shocked. Okay, now this category of reel is not with a sensational hook, no fancy editing, no transition, no production, no fancy camera, just clear sound and a topic worth addressing. This example, I've added this example specifically, it's a slow burn reel. No edits at all, just in the middle I had edited some segment because it was taking long because of the internet. But here the topic was so interesting that even if the edit is mediocre, even if the camera is mediocre, I was not wearing my lenses, I had not washed my face, I was supremely tired, but it did work. But it worked because first of all, the caption on the top made it very clear that it had something very crazy. ChatGPT voices can now breathe. What does that even mean, right? And then I'm doing something which is very simple. So my first sentence is ChatGPT can now breathe as well. This is the mobile app. Everybody has the mobile app. If I were to show this on the laptop, half of the people would have stopped the reel thinking that they can't do it. So I've made it very accessible. And the demo looks very raw. And because it looks very raw, on one side I've made a claim on the top that it can breathe, and on the other side the video is so raw, so your brain is like, how is this even possible, right? And it is supremely interesting how if you choose the right topic, even if you record it from your phone, and if your sound is clear and if your hook is clear, hook in this case was not what I was saying, but the text on top, it will still do very well. And that is why on Instagram, emotional content, friendship based content, pet content, all of these things do very well. But the first frame needs to either show something here visually which is very appealing, or have a caption which is incomplete, which is applying the Zeigarnik effect, as they say, which means that you tell something but not reveal the entire ending. Now I know that in the video I said that I will explain you 5 reels, but there's one more reel I wanted to show you, which is reel number 6, where I did not even open up the camera to record myself. Okay, this is simply me sharing my own thoughts and then just adding footage of other movies. And I did this 2-3 times and it has done pretty well on my Instagram. This entire pattern, this format of text with movie, it's doing very well. Now let me explain you how this works. Okay, let me first play this reel for you. Become a walking paradox. That's how you gain an edge in life. Study war but read poetry. Understand science but discover art. The most elite performers in the world are a paradox in one way or another. They can connect seemingly opposite ideas and weave them into their work. That's the only way to add depth and dimension to your character, and to become one of one in a world full of carbon copies. Alright, now I'll tell you why these kind of reels do pretty well, okay? Number one, when you use movie scenes, popular movie scenes, every movie scene can trigger a very strong emotion into the brains of the viewer, right? When you use Dead Poets Society, when you use Good Will Hunting, you use Tare Zameen Par, like all of these movies strike a very strong emotion. In the background, I'm using Interstellar, Hans Zimmer, Cornfield Chase, which again, very strong recall. I'm using landscape footage, that is why I've put them in a square box, but what I've done is I've duplicated that video in Adobe After Effects, and there's this thing called as a CRT effect. If you go to YouTube, you can just search for CRT effect. Many tutorials are there. Then this font I got from Envato Elements. If you want to learn marketing design in general, I've already made a very detailed video on my YouTube channel that teaches you the basics of brand identity, brand colors and typography. I'll put the link in description. This entire template was also from Envato. It's like a TV template, so uske andar we've put the video. And then the first line itself is becoming a walking paradox. Now the fun part is that these thoughts are not even mine. This reel right here is a perfect example of being a curator and not a creator. All the 5 reels that I've shown you before this, it was a peak example of me being a creator because I wrote the script, I shot myself, I did the editing, everything I did. Reel number 6 is also very successful, which is me curating. What is the curation? I read this quote that was written by somebody else and I thought this quote is so interesting, but he had posted it as a tweet. I took the same tweet and I just said it in front of my iPhone mic. I did not even use this mic. I used my iPhone mic and I decided to just combine a bunch of videos all together, put good music on top of it, change the scene every 1 second, scenes that add depth to it, also add real people so that it becomes even more aspirational, more inspiring, and then give credits to the main person who has given this quote in the description and in the video. So that person also wins because I gave him so many views, so many impressions on his Instagram for free. I also win because people really love the edit, so they will remember me for these motivational reels. And I did not even sit in front of the camera. I did not think of the quote. All I did was put things together in a neat and clean manner. So the biggest goal of this entire exercise was to tell you that to become a great Instagrammer, you can have a mix of push and pull content, and within that content you can either act as a creator or as a curator. Sahil Bloom is a great example of a curator. If you're a student who does not have too much of experience in his or her field, just be a curator. So I hope all of these things did make sense. I know that there's a lot to digest. You will have to practice a lot. This was again like a very brief overview of how scripting works. I would strongly recommend you to download videos of creators you really look up to and listen to their scripts and write them down with your own hands. Badshah in his recent podcast with Nikhil Kamath on WTF said that when he was young, he used to download songs by Backstreet Boys and listen and then write the lyrics because they didn't have websites like genius.com and lyrics, all of that, right? So when you listen to something and then when you write the transcription yourself, the way your brain makes patterns is just magnified. So I would personally recommend each and every one of you to download these videos, sit with yourself and do this homework, do this for at least 20 to 30 reels and figure out how did they write the hook, how did they script it, what was the call to action, what was the beginning hook, how did they explain something, should I make it in Hindi, should I make it in English, try it with your audience. I would recommend even if you make Hindi content, have at least English subtitles so that it's accessible to the entire world. Otherwise, if you stick with just English content, works completely well. But please make sure you invest in a good mic. I have already explained all of these equipment based things in my video editing course. I've also explained this in my setup tour. All of my content is available for free, but for some reason people just don't explore and watch in detail. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if these exercises helped you and if you want long form script analysis as well in episode number 2, because episode 1 is just for viral Instagram reels. Maybe in video number 2 I can take you through my YouTube process as well. If you like this video, make sure you write your detailed feedback in the comment section. I'll be checking how good you are at writing your thoughts, so do not use AI for it. Make sure you check out Brilliant from the link in description because it's extremely helpful for students who want to upskill themselves and also learn how to teach extremely complicated topics in a very simple and easy to understand manner. Majority of you have still not subscribed to us, so please make sure you click on that button right now and hit the bell icon so you do not miss the next episode of this personal branding and content creation course. I hope that you're taking care of your mind and body. This is your dost Ansh Mehra signing out.